free e-book aiming to help keep children safe has been launched in time for Counselling Awareness Week. Here to tell us why it's a unique resource is the book's author, Anya Godwin. Welcome to the show, Anya.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
So your book is called Say No to Bottom Games, which sort of surprised us all when we were talking about it yesterday in the meeting. Where did that phrase come up? Where did that phrase come from?
Well, the e-book is an initiative for the beginning of Counselling Awareness Week, and Home and Family Counselling in Auckland, that's the place that I work for, and they were kind enough to take on board the beginning of Say No to Bottom Games.
And it's obviously about educating youngsters about potential for sexual abuse.
That's right.
Unfortunately,
it is.
To put it blunt. So where did so it was something you'd said to your child?
Yes. Say No to Bottom Games was an idea that I thought of to say to my daughter when she was little.
And how old was she when you can talk about
two?
Because my big question is, and I've probably never addressed it with my child who's now 7, isn't too young to even insinuate that anything could be inappropriate? Aren't you giving them ideas, or does that make sense?
It does make sense, and I think it's a common question. But I think
taking away their innocence, I guess that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and let's hope that we never have to do that.
I know, but if you start talking about, you know, that an uncle or someone might be inappropriate, isn't that taking away their innocence?
Well, I don't think so, because the message that I'm offering in the book is that you don't actually start talking about those sorts of things until they're quite a lot older. The idea is, with this particular book, which makes it a little different from some of the others that are out there, is it's age-appropriate, step-by-step ways of bringing in education about this kind of thing. So when they're little, you just start talking to them about keeping their bottom safe, that their bottom is private, that their bottom belongs to them, and that you wear your pants when you're playing on the jungle gyms and things like that. And you can give them easy messages like, well, I don't wear my pants, don't take my pants off when I play on the jungle gym, or I go
to the supermarket.
That's right. When I'm going to the supermarket, you have a look and see if there's anybody who doesn't have pants on, and so you can kind of bring it into an easy way, and it's really just about teaching them appropriately at different ages.
Because you talk about too, because I suppose I have, taken the different tack, and I know a lot of people do, which is kind of celebrate your body. Do you know what I mean? And so why can't you run around naked when you're 2 or 4? On the beach or in the backyard. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do, yeah.
And I'm not trying to, I'm just sort of challenging that concept. What do you think about parents who choose that way to parent and say, our body is wonderful, don't be self-conscious, run around with your bottom showing?
Well, I think there are places for that, and there are places when it's not appropriate.
All right, so you're saying in public, no, but it's okay in your own house.
And we're all going to have different ways of going about our parenting, and I think that that's very valid. What I'm suggesting is that, as well as thinking about the celebration of our body, which I totally agree with, that there's also appropriate places for keeping children safe.
And I think, the sad fact is that we do have a horrible rate of sexual abuse and abuse of our children in this country, and you sadly saw it firsthand, which was what prompted you to write the book. Tell me a bit about that experience.
Well, I'm a counsellor working with children and families, and from time to time I do hear very sad stories about children who have been sexually abused, and the whole motivation came from realising that whilst I think our country's done a really great job in educating us about the fact that sexual abuse happens. I think the lid is off, people do know it, but the struggle is knowing how to start, knowing what to say.
Yes.
And so this particular book is written in 2 sections. It's got a section which is a manual for parents, which helps them figure out by suggesting some things about what to say, offers the idea that as well as what it is that you're already doing. Most parents want to do the best for their children. And I think that's really something we do. And this book gives you another tool to add to that, what you would already do. So there's section 1 for the parents, and section 2, there's 10 stories for the children.
That you can read to your children. Or even they can read themselves if they're older. You talk about, from about 2 or so, just talking about understanding I'm the boss of my body, don't say no to bottom games. At what age is it appropriate to actually or not confront your child, but talk to your child that potentially they could be the subject to inappropriate behaviour and actually specifically spell it out. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, and I think that's a very good question, and it's difficult to answer because every family and every person is going to have their opinion about what's appropriate. What I have suggested in the book at around about 9
is when you can actually specifically say.
Well, that's what I've suggested. Yeah.
All right. Well, look, it's a fabulous resource, and it's wonderful. It's free to people online, and I'll let everyone know how to get it. And it's and I do think the stories are good because that's a really good way to relate to children, is tell them a story. Anya, congratulations and thanks very much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
And for more about this book, go to our website and you'll get the link to the ebook up there. But coming up later, Tamara Jane is back with Neenish Tarts. I wonder if we heard about where they come from, and Barbershop Quartet.